So early on in my career, I found myself in a position where I was working with a lot of individual plans and employees that were part of small groups. And one of the things that I spent a lot of time doing was helping people make either purchasing decisions on the individual side or enrollment or election decisions on the small group side. And something I would regularly hear from these people was that health insurance is complicated. They would tell me, this is really complicated, this is frustrating, it's confusing. And that would create challenges for me because as these people were feeling their struggle to try and understand insurance concepts, it was making the process of getting them either enrolled or set up on a policy would make it take a long time. And even when you would come to a decision, they were usually apprehensive about it. And that's always kind of a feeling that you struggle with when you feel like the person that you're helping is not quite confident in the decision that they've made. And so in order to deal with this, I needed something that would allow me to illustrate insurance in simple terms so that anybody can understand it and allow them to make their decisions quicker. And so what I came up with was just a simple illustration that I would oftentimes do and actually at a whiteboard. And it goes something like this. And I'll use some colors to kind of allow us to have something attractive to look at. But what I would do is I would draw just a simple line, essentially a continuum like they would have in math class. And what I would tell them is that this line represents the range of possible medical expenses. And this goes to infinity over here. And then starting right here, we have $0. And so the idea is when you buy a health insurance policy, you're aware that you may have medical expenses throughout the year. And there's lots of components to a health insurance plan. Every broker knows this, but I decided that it made sense to stick with the main components, and I felt those were the deductible, the coinsurance, and then the out-of-pocket maximum. Then I would explain networks as a separate topic. That's another important component. But what I wouldn't do is try and get into the weeds of, ER visits and inpatient surgeries and those kinds of things. I would just talk about these things at a high level. And so what I would do is I would take this continuum and I would break it into sections. And so this first section right here is going to be the deductible. And I'll put that right here. And I abbreviate DED as deductible. And then the second section over here was the out-of-pocket maximum. And I found that a lot of the confusion comes in how we talk about the out-of-pocket maximum. I think we talk about it the way we do because it was designed to be a simple to understand metric and maybe something that also allows us to deal with smaller numbers. But I find that it's often confusing because what we usually say is you're going to pay coinsurance until you've spent your out-of-pocket maximum, and then the plan pays 100%. And that conceptually makes sense, but that's kind of a complicated way to explain things. And so I would usually call this the maximum liability threshold. And then say this is basically the point after the max out of pocket. So now how I would explain the policy is like this, is we'll take an example here and we're going to say we've got this hypothetical policy that has a deductible of $1,000. And then we'll say it has, for coinsurance, it has coinsurance at 80% paid by the health plan and 20% paid by the member. Then we have an out-of-pocket maximum, so we'll call it a max OOP of $5,000. And then we'll say a premium. We'll make up a premium amount here. We'll say it's $450 per month for this policy. So what I would do is I would say, okay, the way this policy works is you're going to pay some of the expenses, speaking to the member or the employee or the individual plans, and the health insurance is going to pay a section. So we'll put the health insurance here at the top. Oops. And then we'll put the member down here at the bottom. And so how I would explain this is I'd say, okay, so from medical expenses from 0 to that deductible, and I'll put that again up here, of $1,000, the health plan is going to pay 0% or $0. And then the member is going to be paying 100% or $1,000. Then we enter the coinsurance stage, and coinsurance is from $1,000 to this out-of-pocket maximum. And this is where things get confusing, is because we talk about the out-of-pocket maximum in terms of how the member experiences their benefits. But I'm going to pull up a calculator here and show you a trick. The question is how long is that range from the $1,000 of the deductible to that member out-of-pocket maximum. And the way we can do that is there's a simple calculation you can run. You can take the out-of-pocket maximum and subtract the deductible. I'm typing incorrectly here. What's wrong, Eric? Minus the deductible and divide that by the coinsurance amount. And then you get a value here. So that's $20,000. And so what that's saying is from $1,000 to $20,000, and I'm gonna add the deductible in because from $1,000 to $21,000 is $20,000, but we want to include the deductible in there. So this range right here is $20,000 worth of expense. From here to here, what's going to happen is the health plan is going to pay 80% of the cost, or in math terms, 80% of $20,000 is $16,000, and then the member is going to pay 20%. Or in math terms, that would be $4,000. And if you work that out, the $1,000 in the deductible plus the $4,000 in coinsurance, that is the member's out-of-pocket maximum. And so once the members met their out-of-pocket maximum, then we enter the threshold of maximum liability or the maximum out-of-pocket. And at this stage, the health plan pays 100%, and that's to infinity. And the member pays 0%, and that's also to infinity. So this is a way to help people kind of get a sense of how their health insurance is going to be affected by the range of medical expenses they have, and how these concepts like out-of-pocket maximum actually work, so that when you're selling policies and you're having someone that's confused, something like this may be a better way to explain it so that they can get their mind around it and then they can make a decision. So the faster they can make a decision, the faster you can get to sell and move on to other activities. So hope that's helpful. We'll catch you in the next video.